Le Patriote 1792. In an unprecedented move, the Assembly have decreed that Citizen Mirabeau will be given a state funeral in the Abbey Church of Saint Genevieve, now to be known as the Pantheon. It will serve as the final resting place of the heroes of the Revolution. Once the King's Minister of the Treasury and much-loved public figure, Jacques Necker, is leaving Paris in disgrace. His attempted reforms, as popular as they once were, came too late and changed too little to avert the recent upheaval. We say good riddance to this Swiss meddler. Lafayette acquitted. Despite massive pressure from the people, the Assembly has voted in his favor. Citizens are encouraged to respect the law. Many members have since been abused and intimidated, which, though natural considering public opinion, must end. Our brothers in Liege are once more defeated by the feudal tyrant Habsburgs. They will not quit, however. The spirit of liberty, once tasted by the people, cannot be suppressed. France, here's your cries, brothers. Le Chevalier d'Eon, showmen and swordsmen. We are at loss for words. Should these pages be singing the glory of his exquisite taste in dresses, or the unique finesse of his deadly swordplay? Le Chevalier d'Eon has dumbfounded us once again. Champs-Élysées. This is where the Parisians who lived outside the ramparts used to gather, away from the mire and squalor of the city. It was a place for all sorts of outdoor pursuits, from the most innocent to those that were less laudable. The adjoining street, now known as Avenue des Veuves, the Widow's Avenue, because women in mourning gathered there. Talk about a singles hotspot. Oopsie. The Champs-Élysées had its own special police force, whose reports give a highly colorful version of the times. It was also the backdrop for political affairs. Paul Barras devised his conspiracy to overthrow Robespierre from the inn that belonged to Antoine Nicolas Doyen, which still exists today as the Le Doyen Restaurant. Been there. Try the this is going to be tough, but we're going to try our best. Rouille, l'acquis d'un jus de battergave, acudul, nope, acidul, aciduli. Tell them I sent you, but do not use my name or refer to me in any way. By his own admission, we sought to agree on how to put an end to the excesses of the government committees and to help the National Convention to regain its existence. In the evening, the conspirators met at a local Nadir. I am sorry for messing up all these words. During the Reign of Terror, it was also the most inconspicuous means of passage among the unruly crowds to the Bois de Boulogne in order to hide. Only a dozen police officers patrolled it. Suspects, escaped prisoners, draft evaders, and vagrants would hide there among the foliage and thickets. Living the dream, boys. Yeah, again, sorry for messing up all those words. I never took French in school.
This morning, I was accosted by 3 men carrying some poor soul's head atop a pike. Seems they mistook my uniform for a mark of nobility and demanded I shout, "Long live the Republic," to prove my allegiance.
I suppose handing out tricolor cockades is now passé. What did you do?
I shouted, "Long live the Republic."
A man of principle.
Life is more valuable than dignity. But this is what happens when you give command of the government to half-starved lunatics and command of the army to bloodthirsty savages.
Rouille.
I wanted him assigned to some out-of-the-way garrison, but the man redefines the term friends in high places. He's untouchable.
But you know where I can find him.
Rumor about the barracks is that he and a unit of his cronies plan on marching on the Grand Chatelet this afternoon. If he were to meet with an accident, few in France would suffer. My career certainly wouldn't.
Well, practice your speech-making.
Get their weapons.
Nobody try anything. Come on, boys! Find me a warden!
Palais des Tuileries. Originally a separate palace, the Tuileries was united with the Louvre Palace by Henry IV. The original Tuileries was the result of a caprice of Catherine de' Medici, who found the Louvre too big, too cold, and too crowded. She turned her attention to a former tile factory on the other side of the ditch, which she would transform into the palace of her dreams. Since the land was vacant, there was no one to expropriate. Expropriate is a posh person's word, meaning forcibly turf out. Over the centuries, the Tuileries Garden would become much like an amusement park, the highlight of which came when Jacques Alexander Caesar Charles launched the world's first hydrogen-filled balloon there. 400,000 people filled the garden, embankments, roofs, and Place Louis the 15th. The entry fee was 3 sous. 9 years later, the mood was decidedly less friendly to Louis the 16th, when he and his family had to take refuge in the Salle du Manège, having escaped a mob of insurgents who invaded the Tuileries on August 10th, 1792. A revolutionary day that brought the monarch's downfall. What was once Queen Catherine's Park had become the Republic's melting pot. August. On August 6th, 1792, a crowd gathered on the Champ de Mars once more to petition the king's deposition. An atmosphere of besiegement reigned in Paris. But it was not against foreign enemies that the insurgents sought to defend themselves, but those from within. Those who were in a position to derail the revolution. Jacobins and Cordeliers took refuge in the Paris City Hall along with 7,000 soldiers. The king strengthened his positions at the Tuileries Palace from 2,000 to 3,000 men, mainly Swiss guards. On the night of August 10th, with the monarchy just hours from its impending doom, the tocsin sounded to mark the beginning of the revolt. The insurgents wanted to ensure that the king would be unable to regain his rights. The fighting was swift and brutal. The Swiss Guard were massacred almost to a man. The king, meanwhile, took advantage of this confusion to slip away from the palace and place himself in the hands of the National Convention. Funny how the noble are so rarely the first to act nobly. Ultimately, the assault led to the demise of the Legislative Assembly, the formal abolition of the monarchy, and the creation of the National Convention. It would also lead less directly to the September Massacre a month later. The September Massacre. The military situation in 1792 was deteriorating. Although the Duke of Brunswick, commander-in-chief of the German army, had made his way through Lorraine onto French soil, it was the defeat at Verdun on September 2nd, 1792, that scared the French deputies. With his sword of Damocles hanging over the head of Paris, a great many revolutionaries called for a radical purge of all opposition. Among them was Marat, who exclaimed, "Rise up! Rise up! Let the blood of the traitors flow!" In a similar vein, Danton memorably affirmed against the Duke of Brunswick and the invaders, "We need audacity, and yet more audacity, and always audacity, and France shall be saved." Quite an audacious thing to say. He's setting a good example. At this time, the prisons were filled with thousands of men and women, some hostile to the revolution, such as non-juring priests and former aristocrats, but also common law criminals and lunatics. Fearing that the prisons were a veritable nest of traitors waiting to strike at Paris from within, even as Brunswick invaded from without, the revolutionaries made for the prisons and began murdering anyone even remotely suspected of counter-revolutionary sentiment. Between 1,090 and 1,395 prisoners were killed before the massacres finally ceased. These outbursts of punitive violence had left their mark on the Parisians, although a number of deputies insisted that these actions had been necessary. In provinces, they engendered disapproval and horror with regard to Paris, but they also spread terror among potential opponents. Pont au Change. This bridge owes its name to the goldsmiths and money changers whose stalls lined the length of the bridge, effectively turning it into a gold district. Money changers played an important role at the time, given the diversity of currencies and the likelihood of having clipped coins which were no longer worth their original weight. Grand Chatelet, marked by an imposingly tall, square tower, this prison was once a fortress, located in the heart of the city at the Place de Grève. It enjoyed a particularly sinister reputation. This was yet another construction by the indefatigable Louis the Sixth, the Fat, who wanted to defend the Grand Pont Bridge, since replaced by the Pont au Change, set in the middle of what was then a particularly squalid district. It served as the headquarters of the Prévôt de Paris, or Provost Marshal, who essentially ruled over the city, along with his lieutenant and his 48 advisors. Justice was dealt out swiftly within its walls, whereas the Bastille was demolished in just a few frenzied weeks. The Grand Chatelet was put to fresh use by the Reign of Terror, housing prisoners that would fall victim during the September massacres. Finally, the prison itself fell to Napoleon, who wanted it razed. That's the small man complex for you. Consistently wanting to bring things down to their level. Among its illustrious occupants were François Villon, Clement Marot, prisoner Antoine François Desroues, and the Marquis de Favre. Vars. In 1790, before being hanged, it engendered the word morgue in French, which in the 15th century meant face, and in its verbal form to stare at. The Chatelet's jailers stared at their victims, no doubt with contempt, so that they would be able to identify them in case they escaped. The word morgue came to be used to designate the cells. It also sounds an awful lot like my days in the British public school system, just with less random violence.
Accès de variole, Madame Raymond est à la recherche de blanchisseuses. Elles travailleront sur la berge, près de la tour de Nesle et du site du nouveau pont de la Concorde. Les candidates devront être jeunes.
Mettons de la chair à pâté!
Montre-lui qui commande. Too much wine.
You got 2 more days. Ah, suck it. It's not important. Where's he bloody gone on? No sudden movements. Well, now. Didn't just up and vanish now, did you? If they try anything, shoot them!
You'll go to the guillotine for this.
Sons of bitches! Silence!
Where's the map, you little rat?
Get the bastard! You can't escape!
Merci, monsieur. I don't know what unit you serve with, but thank you.
You can thank me by getting to the walls and stopping these killings.
Oui, monsieur.
Leave him.
What are you waiting for? More traitors to deal with.
Look at these
Hold fast, men! Cut them down!
Protect the prisoners!
Death to the traitors! Beat them back! Vive la Révolution!
Steady!
into the breach!
Hold that line!
Kill them all!
He's a
Leave
dead
your
man,
energy for our
that's it.
enemies, my friend.
Goon!
These royalists! I'll have you dead in your tracks! What's all that smoke coming
You're technically out. Time for you to my duty to carry out the usual sentence.
You're a brother saying rest easy now.
My brother. What's going on now?
What's going on?
Bloody revolutionary bastard! Get him!
Look, Warden! Your brother's here to visit. But don't you want to see him? Come now, Warden. Let's have a cheer. Vive la Révolution! What's the matter? Liberty, freedom, born.
Where you going? Wait a moment! Yourself? Need a take of briquet?
Your brother's here to visit. But don't you want to see him? Come now, Warden. Let's have a cheer. Vive la Révolution! What's the matter? Not a fan of liberty? Freedom bores you?
Dancing away! Why?
If you have orders to remove us from this hall, you must also get authority to use force. For we shall yield to nothing but bayonets!
Ah, but to administer is to govern. To govern is to reign.
That is the essence of the problem.
Mr. Mirabeau.
Pathetic, isn't it? Surely France deserves better.
What was that? Rouille, clean up your mess, it's time.
Told you I could make him talk.
You've done well, Captain. Read.
The price of grain is higher than ever, Grand Master. Our agents are in place to divert the shipments to our docks. They await only your command.
Good. Starve them. Through famine and fury, they will see their false masters for what they are, but do it gradually.
What you're asking will take at least a year, Grand Master. If not 2.
Well, there you have it. End of another episode. Make this one quick. Just say thanks for watching and bye for now.